Hey, what's good, guys? Polipopo here, and I thought that I would start on an empty project and kind of walk you guys through. This way, if you're having troubles making a full song from start to finish, that's what we're going to do here. I'm going to try to do it in like 10 minutes. So, here we go. I'm going to start with an empty project, and of course, on one of my videos, I'll leave a link. I went and showed how the first thing you do is select all your drums, select which instruments you want. But for this video, I'm just going to be using plugins. So I'm going to use Tube Synth. So for that, I have to, if you notice what I did, I'm going to track 1, plugin 1. There's no other plugins here. So if I go to track 2, it's going to be the same. If I change this sound, it's going to be the same. You have to hit a plus. Every track has to have its own program. That's extremely important to understand, that every single track has to have a program. If you have a chilled trap kit, if you have 2 drum kits, each one has to have its own program. Let me show you this real quick. Let's load up acoustic kit. And let's load this. Alright, so we got 2 different drums loaded up, right? So for, let's like, where are my drums? Where are my stuff? Those aren't my drums. You got to hit the drums, select the program to make sure that it shows the drums that you're on. See how it changed? If you double tap, it'll show you have 2 different programs. So if this is a whole bunch of chops that you want, or you sampled a bunch of samples here and also here from a different record, and you want to assign them to a different program with just the specific chops on the program 1, so you know what I mean, you can do that there. I just want to show that every single track has to have a program. So for plugin 1, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use 8 tracks. That's as many as you can use in standalone. So for track 1, so now I can have 8 hype synths if I want. If I wanted to go to track 2, go to plug, it says plugin 2. If not, it would have said plugin 1, and it would have, track 2 would have played the same sound, and if I would have changed the sound, it would have played the same thing. You have to have it to its own thing. So now I can change that to have hype, and they're both now hype on 2 separate instances. So it's just a little bit to wrap around right there, but that's what we got to do. In order to use hype in all of these, I have to make sure that each one has its own plugin program. See how it changed? It went to Tube Synth. I'll show you as we go along what will happen if you don't do it that way. It's kind of fun. So I don't know what we're going to record. I'm just going to grab a piano and kind of go with what I got. Not even sure if I'm going to use all 8 plugins, but that's all I'm going to use is hype synth today. So what I did, I made sure this is red. I got it on auto so that it plays back after I record. I'm going 120, 8 bars, and what I do when I'm recording, I hit the overdub button and then I hit play. I don't know if you can see that. I hit the overdub button and then play. So my song never stops. The last thing you want is for your music to stop in the middle of everything. But then again, it has its benefits whenever you're sampling it. I used to say, don't stop the music, but if you're sampling and you want to go through here and you go to your specific sounds and you type in like snare or whatever, you go through all your snares to the one that feels crispy in that genre of music. I understand that, but to just get an idea out, that's pretty much how you want to set up. you want to have track 1 is going to be track 1. So we're going to open a brand new project, and I want to show you, if you don't set up this way, what will happen. And it doesn't matter if you're using plugins or if you're using drums. Plugins are the sounds that are in your MPC. If you hit program edit, it brings up which plugin that you're messing with. On the MPC Live also, if you hit menu and you hit program edit, it's the same thing. And each one has its own identity. They're very, very, very cool. So here we are. We're track 1, plugin none or 1. All we got is one plugin. So we're just going to record something. I'm going to go 4 bars. You hear how that didn't come back? It does not sound the same way that I played it. So what that means is it's quantized. Up here it says TC, you got 116. I'm going to turn this off just for this track. I'm going to hit undo. And I'm going to record it, and now it'll catch that vibe that I was doing. See, it kind of made it a more buttery. So now I go to track 2. And like I was saying earlier, if you don't set it up the way that we had it set up, if you don't have it set up the way that we had it set up, you go to track 2 and you go, okay, now what? And you're like, why did it change the sound? That's what I'm saying, is you have to hit plus. Now track 2 has plugin 2. So now I can change this all I want. That's really all I really want to get at, is that I can't stress that enough, that each track has to have its own identity. You go to track 3, just kind of wrap your head around that for a second, guys. I went to track 2, let's undo it. I go to track 2, let's record track 1. I go to track 2, let's hit overdub again, okay? It keeps the playing, and I can figure out what I want to play on track 2. You know what I mean? Without recording it. So track 2. You go here and you're like, okay, cool, I want to change a different sound, and remember, you have to have that. You have to have, each track has to have its own thing. I don't care if you hit browse and you go through here. Let's say you just want to use this chill trap kit. We're going to use the chill trap kit. And it's another program. So we got 3 drum programs. Nothing here. These are for our chops. Okay, you can even name this blank program here, chops, and do it, because there's nothing on these pads right now. So what we want to do is, you go to your chops, all the samples that you have loaded in your MPC, you just go to assign samples and you load them on a new program. And you get a brand new A through H per program. If you sample on track 1 and you go to and you notice that all your squares are full of different chops, because after you sampled like a 3-minute song and you went to trim and chop, it chopped up so much that it's all the way through. So now your program is full. So you just add a new program, name it chops, and just add your chops to that one, A through H. Every single program has an A through H, so it's very, very powerful to know that program 1 has all of these banks. Program 2 has all of these banks. Program 3, Chill Trap Kit, or your other sample, they have all those banks. So it's not just 64 banks, it's 64 times 64. It's insane amount of power. So let's go back here. Track 2. Now that we got our second sound, I'm going to change the plugin. I'm just going to record that for the sake of the video, okay? When I'm done, I go ahead and hit the overdub button. I want to be done with it. So that's cool. And any automation that I do, so I'm going to turn this track down. A lot of the times the stock sounds don't really sound that great, but if you turn them down and add effects to them, they add up. They do a lot, especially whenever you're playing. If you add a delay to when you're playing, it'll change the way that you're playing. What we're gonna do is what I was saying is even if you go to your instruments, let's load up a whole bunch of these different instruments, okay? I want to show you that it'll automatically put it in its own program. And I think it's important to know, like when you're sampling something and you're chopping it up, like I say, if all the banks fill up on that chop on that program, make a new program and put your chops that you want on it. It's just repetitive, that's all. Well, let's load this and then hopefully this thing doesn't freeze. So what I want to show you, and this is it's just good to know that this does this. Come on, baby. Alright, cool. So now we're on track 3. First thing that we need to do is add a new plugin program because there's not one there. If I change the sound, it's like, what happened? So you need to always make sure the plugin matches your track. Track 3, plugin 3. If you're using your drums, it's your first program. These are already labeled like that. But if your chops, if you have 2 different programs of chops, you want this one to be, you know, on track 4, I got my oohs and ahs, and on track 5, I got my yeahs and bells, or whatever it is. So let's go back to here. Track 4 would need track 4. That's why when I turn on my MPC, I just like to have all of that ready. I make sure my tracks correspond. And that's just a good, quick way to set it up. 6 to 6, 7 to 7, 8 to 8. Alright? Now that we're set up, I'm going to go ahead and I guess we'll leave that record and just record over this. So now each track is individual, and if I go to menu track mute, I have 8 tracks. Which is really cool, because if you need to undo something, it doesn't undo everything that you did. It only does the last track that you did. So let's go ahead and record. For this one, I'm going to use a piano. Hit the overdub. And off when I want to figure out what I want to play. Let's do that. Turn it down. Go to track 4. Let's put a piano in there and then some strings, and we'll call it a day. Overdub's off. Go up an octave. To make this a little more of a song, I'm going to double the length. To do that, I just hit this pencil on sequence, and I'm going to hit that. That's all you got to do. Just trust it. If you keep hitting it, it's going to keep doubling it. Just tap it once. Now we got 8 bars. If you didn't see that, it's at 4 bars. I hit the pencil, double length. Now it's at 8 bars. So my next track's going to have a little bit more movement to it. Kind of tie everything in together. Dang, did I record that? I did. That's alright. I'll go into my step sequence right here. I'll find that note and get rid of it. It's horrible. Jeez. Alright. Let's come in heavy with some keys. Now it has an 8-bar loop going behind all those 4 bars. Let's add some strings. Track 5, plug in 5. I know there are some strings in the hype. Always make sure that overdub's off. Okay. Hype. Let's get some strings. It's not about the song, it's more of the workflow, okay guys? I'll show you how to sequence this out in just a second. 6, we'll add some drums. To 808. Probably off key, but that's perfect. I don't care. Main. For that. It's off key, whatever. Show you that there's 6 tracks, and then I'm going to show you how to break it into a song, okay? That's all I wanted out of that whole kit. I'm not going to use none of that. 7. So that's what I'm saying, is you would have just assigned that one kit to these chops. You would have had all these other pads with things you wanted on them instead of just this one kick that I use for a whole program. It eats up space. So, the next track and final track. Add some wacky drums. See, there's nothing there. Let's load up another one. Drums, acoustic kit. And I want to show you how to explode your drums. Exploding your drums is when you have all your drums on one pad like this, or one program on 16 pads. We're going to play them all on track 7. We know there's nothing on track 8, and what it's going to do is it's going to fill up all these with 16 more tracks. It's going to put each hit, each kick, snare, hi-hat, each pad on its own track. You can use the pad mixer to do this. Me personally, I like to have every single thing on its separate track. I like to have everything have its own identity, so it doesn't clash or whatever. You know, just it's fun. So here we go. Whenever you do this, you might want to turn some drums down and have some drums with certain effects on them. So that's why I like to have them on separate tracks. I'm going to add a kick snare. Alright, so you see that we're on track 7. Go to track 8. There is nothing on track 9. There's nothing playing on track 8. So what we're going to do is hit this pencil, explode. It mutes out track 7 because that's where all of our drums are playing at the same time. What it did, it moved it over. Track 8 is still track 8. But now track 9 is just the kick. track 10 is pad 2, your snare. Look. It tells you everything that's on them. So now you have full control over muting out. Maybe on sequence 1, you only want your kick. You know what I mean? So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to take this whole song. I'm going to add one more thing on top of it just because it sounds a little boring and I like to have a lot of mud in my stuff. So it was track 7 that muted out. If you mute out all of those and you hit track 7, solo track 7, it's going to play all the drums. Or wait. Yeah, it should have been that. Okay. Before I get ahead of myself, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna hit main. I'm gonna go back to that track 8, and I want to play something over all this. I just gotta find a sound. Bear with me. And this is without adding any effects or anything. All these are dry. None of these have effects or anything like that except for the stock ones on there. So we got our song, right? So what I want to do next, this is kind of fun. So if you need to take a break or whatever, this is like the next part of the whole dealy thing. How you take your whole mess of stuff and sequence it out into a song. I want to show you this part right now because it's pretty. You need to know it. So we got freaking 23 tracks all on one sequence. We're gonna make sure all these are unmuted. Yeah. Okay. And all I'm gonna do, this is really easy. I'm gonna hit the pencil on sequence and I'm gonna copy it 8 times, okay? Just trust me on this, because 8 times 8 is 64. It's a 64 bar beat. It gives you about 2 minutes. A through H gives you 16 pads at 64. I mean, it all adds up. It's good stuff. So we're gonna copy the sequence. All we did was hit sequence 1 and copy the sequence to sequence 2. And I'm going to do this a few times because maybe I want, like I say, I got my whole song coming out the gate on one sequence. Alright? All 8 sequences are the same. They all look the same. So you hit menu and you hit track mute, and up here you can see sequence 8. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You know where I'm going with this? So sequence, let's say we listen to this, okay, and sequence 1 we want to sound like this, okay. Sequence 2, I don't want everything coming out the gate swinging all hard, but I want a little more build up, so I'll add a little more. Okay, we're just gonna do this at random. Sequence 4 is gonna bang, sequence 5 is gonna die back down. I'm going to leave all these. Remember, sequence 7 has all of our drums on it. So if we want to have solo drums, we'll show you in sequence 6, and I'll call it out when it happens. This should just have a kick and a snare. I'll say kick and snare, and kick and snare will come out right here. Boom, boom, boom. 7's muted. If not, all the tracks are going to play at the same time, okay? Mute that. Sequence 7. We're going to mute out all of the drums. Remember, if we left 7 on, all the drums would play because that's where our program lives for all of the drums. It muted it out before we exploded it. So I want to have it kind of die down a little bit. And like I say, just at random for right now, because I want to show you, it's not about the song that I'm making, it's the one that you're going to make. Just know that we copied everything. And now look at that. All the sequences are different. Okay, this one looks really busy. You know, you don't want them all to look the same as the whole thing. So now we got 8 different sequences. Bet, right? So again, all we did, we just took the first sequence, hit the pencil, copied it 8 times. Now we went to menu, track mute. You listen to these over and over. You know, whenever you listen to a song, you're going to listen to it 15, 20,000 times, you know, until you find something you don't like with it. This is without effects or anything. This is just a quick speed run of putting it all together. So now we got all of our sequences. They're all different. And now we're going to go into song mode, okay? If you made it this far, congratulations. If not, just go back and watch that slower. You know, so what we're going to do, we're in song mode. You can hit menu and hit this song. I'm just going to insert these sequences. There's different ways to go about doing this. This is the way that I do it. Sequence 1, you see they're all sequence 1. These big numbers are sequence 1, are the first, second, third, fourth, fifth. What's going to play? The sequence is 1. If it's going to loop, or the beat per minute, the bars, you can change a lot of that. But for right now, I'm just going to have them all play 8 bars. Sequence 1 is going to be on sequence 1. Sequence 2 is going to be sequence 2. If you want sequence 3 to play sequence 2 again, you can do that. But we want all these, just like our tracks, we want all of them to correspond with each other. 1 to 1, 2 to 2, all that good stuff, right? It's just nice to be nice and organized. 6 to 6, 7 to 7, and 8 to 8. So what this is going to do, if I hit play right now, it'll go through each one of these sequences, and you'll be like, yeah, okay, I like that. How do I make it into a song? If you export this like this, it's not going to work. You got to convert it into a song that's 64 bars. Why is sequence 1 7 bars? It's not even a good song, but I can't have that. I can't do it. All right, so what's really important, if you touch this and hit convert sequence, it's only going to give you from 4 on up. Okay, you need to make sure that you're on your last sequence to tell it, I want from down here all the way up here tied together. Convert to sequence. I hit convert to sequence, and I hit do it. Where is it? So you hit clear, or you hit main, and you go to sequence 9. Now you got 64 bars. It played your whole song. So now if you're in song mode and you hit insert sequence 9, now you can hit export, start bar, in bar, 64 bars, stereo output, the wave. You can do it like that. You can do separate programs. I just leave it like this for my audio mix down to be the way that it is. Now, if I wanted to save this as like a project archive for somebody to work on, I would then go to my folder, hit export on my folder, not in song mode. In song mode, when I hit export, it didn't give me explode tracks option. See that? It's not even, it's dark. So when you go to your main, if you want somebody to work on your song and for it to pop up on their DAW the way that you arranged it and everything, with the muted out parts in the sequence and everything, like in arranger mode, then you got to be in your main mode, hit the folder, hit export, and make sure you select explode tracks. That way they have your stems, every single one of them, and you'll know it's working whenever I'll go ahead and save it as untitled export Xperia. We'll save it. You'll see it exporting track 1. Okay, I'm not gonna run you through the whole, but it is exporting the track. Okay, it'll do track by track. If you did it, if it doesn't do track by track, you don't see that, you're not on the main screen and you didn't hit explode tracks. Okay, other than that, let's hear the song. And if you guys have any comments or anything like that, if you want to see me do anything else in the video next time, just let me know. We'll play from the beginning and right on. Let's turn this metro off. Should be good. Again, I'm Polipopo, and thank you guys very much for coming to the channel. I appreciate you guys for coming by. Remember, right up here I do the kick and snare. I didn't have anything And again, guys, it's not about the song, it's about the workflow. That's all. So I hope this helped. I had fun doing it, so I don't.